right. Sorry, didn't mean to walk away when you were talking.
That's okay. You got business to do.
Starting the camera.
Oh, say, have you seen light and dawn's early light? What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Sandy, Rosemary, from Liver and Vacation and
Please bow. A Rotary invocation. I give thanks for the opportunity to be a Rotarian. Rotarians dig wells from which we will never drink. We vaccinate children we'll never meet. We restore eyesight for those we'll never see. We build housing we will never live in. We educate children we will never know. We plant trees we will never sit under. We feed hungry people regardless of race or politics. We know real happiness, which is, as Albert Einstein once said, can only be found by helping others. For this opportunity, we give thanks.
Amen.
You'll be seated. We have two guests today. The first is Christine Schiller, guest of Clay Edward. Elizabeth, welcome. And Kevin Lance, a former Rotarian of this club, guest of Randall News. We're hoping you're going to sign up again. And nice to have you.
So we just have a few announcements. The first thing we have are May birthdays. Susan and Jessica Addis, Donnie Balmas, Kurt Bristow, Don Davis, Clay Everhard, Trish Griffin, Grayson Husky, Kevin Stevenson, Ralph Strother, Cheryl Victorian, and Roberto Zapato. I am so sorry, Roberto. Larry, could we sing happy birthday to these Rotarians?
Sure. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rotarians. Happy birthday to you.
All right, fantastic. All right, so just a few announcements. As you know, a portion of your giving to the Rotary Foundation come back to us via a district assistance program, or what you hear called the DAP grant. This year, we have awarded this grant to the top two teams in our Rotary Challenge competition. So that is Crawford and Vanguard. Last Monday, I had the pleasure with several other Rotarians of presenting new laptops to the second place McGregor team. I thought it was, the kids were involved with coming up with it, and they worked with Ms. Fisher on what would be a good use of these funds. Many of these kids do not have home computing systems or laptops that they can take home to do homework. So it's a huge blessing for those kids, and they were very excited and very thankful to this club for their generosity in providing those. So thank you all who have given to the Rotary Foundation so that made that possible. Today at 2 we will be presenting a selection of books to the Vanguard teacher, coach, and the students. If you would like to join us, the books are right outside if you'd like to take a look at what they selected and maybe throw a sticker on there. And if you would like to come with us to Vanguard to present those, we would love to have you. It won't take but about 15-20 minutes. It'll be at 2:30 today. So anyway, so that leads me into next year. Our literacy committee will work with the McLennan Public Library to use the DAP grant to support one of our local library programs. So exciting stuff. We give and it comes back to us and we see immediately, so it's wonderful. Last item, due statements. Sorry, my voice is off. Due statements went out in April. On your statement, you will see a contribution to the Rotary Foundation and to the Youth Service Fund. These are our minimum goal amounts that we would like to see from each Rotarian so that we can continue to provide the DAP grant opportunities, the challenge competition, the student guests, and the youth service funds. So if you haven't received your due statements or you have some question on that, please let Joanne know. All right. Now, next on the agenda is the introduction of one of our new members, Roberto Zapata. I'm going to get it right, I swear. So sorry. Roberto is the Director of Library and Cultural Engagement for the City of Waco. Overseeing the Waco, Roberto, would you come up here, please? Thank you. Sorry. He is the Director of Library and Cultural Engagement for the City of Waco, overseeing the Waco-McLennan County Library System, the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame and Museum, and the new Bledsoe Miller Steam Center. He most recently served as an Assistant Director of Customer Experience at the Houston Public Library and has held various roles with the San Antonio and McLennan Public Libraries. Roberto holds a Master of Public Administration from the University of Texas at San Antonio and a Master's of Information Resources and Library Science from the University of Arizona. He also earned a Bachelor in Liberal Arts in English and Spanish from the University of Texas, Austin. He's committed to professional development, and it is evident in his involvement as an instructor for the Texas Library Association Launch Program and various Library Association and Leadership Institutes. Roberto brings a deep commitment to community engagement, education, access across all Waco cultural institutions. We are lucky to have him, and we welcome you. Thank you so much. Did you want to say anything?
Hello, everyone. I am Robert Zapata, and again, I am happy to be here. I have been here since July of last year, and so I'm really looking forward to continuing to make connections. If anyone of you is interested not only in helping or partnering with the library, we also have the STEAM Center that's opening in January. There's a lot of opportunity there. And then also as part of the Ranger Museum. So if anyone is interested, has questions about those organizations, feel free to reach out. But again, happy to be here, and thank you for taking a minute.
Okay, we have a couple of more Rotarians to recognize. David T. Kell, who has come out. We have a few Paul Harris Fellows.
Okay. President. All right, so I've got, did Randall Lewis come in? We recognized him earlier before that. Okay, as you know, in our Rotary invocation, we talked about all the great things that Rotary does in this country and around the world. Clean water, inoculations for polio, and all of those great things that we do through the Rotary Foundation. And Dana asked you to not only meet, but I would say exceed the ask in the due statement for your Rotary Foundation gift. That is a worthy cause, as I've told you before, as our Rotary Foundation chair, or whatever I am, that this is a great organization. They are recognized as a 4-star charity because almost all of the funds that we give them goes directly to the causes that they serve. Very little of it is held back for administrative purposes. So it's a great way to get a tax deduction. It's a great way to serve with your dollars the things that we serve in Rotary with our hearts. So in recognition of folks that do that, we do the Paul Harris Fellow recognitions. As you know, if you give $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation, you're recognized with a Paul Harris Fellow recognition, these pins. And so today, I've got a Paul Harris Fellow. Well, let me go on and say, in each successive $1,000 that you give, you get another recognition. So if you've done 2,000, it's Paul Harris plus 1. You've done 3,000, it's Paul Harris plus 3. This gentleman and member has achieved the status of Paul Harris plus 8. And for that, we have a special recognition pin. Okay, Paul. Oh, this is you. Come on up. Congratulations to this. This has 3 rubies in it in recognition of your Paul Harris plus 8 achievement. And like I'm doing, I hope that you will wear it to Rotary and wear it proudly. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your service to Rotary.
Thanks so much. We love recognizing Rotarians. So next, we'll have our chair today, Louis McReynolds, introduce our speaker.
Good afternoon. Monty Chamberlain, our speaker today, is the Employment Recruitment Coordinator for the Texas Health and Human Services Commission. In this role, he is responsible for networking with employers across the state to share information about the many values that disabled individuals can bring to an employer, as well as working on various Employment First related projects, including the HSUS Vocational Apprenticeship Program. Mr. Chamberlain has 41 years in state government, 18 years with the Texas Department of Transportation, the last 23 years with the Health and Human Services Commission, in such roles as Director of Administration for the Regional State Supported Living Center, the Business Services Director for the state, for all 12 state supported living centers, and the last 10 years in his present position. We're glad to have Mr. Chamberlain speak to us today.
Thank you all for having me today. I'm going to walk around because I have a hard time standing still. I won't do well behind the dais. I was also reflecting back on your invitation when it was read and the great works that Rotary does. And I always love speaking to Rotary clubs because it is a direct correlation to the topic I'm going to talk to you about today. And it really spins around this simply. My introduction is always different, so this is off the cuff. But really, what I'm going to talk to you about today, I'm going to share information, okay? Hopefully provide a little bit of motivation for you to think on. But it's very similar to what Rotary does all over the world. Giving an opportunity or a chance, or even in this case, a foot in the door for those that people many times ignore or don't see the potential of. Just helping someone, okay? Now, what I'm going to talk to you about today is why it is a good business decision to consider hiring people with disabilities. I'm going to especially focus on individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Just to give, in the term disabilities is very broad. Did you know that 1 in 5 Americans are classified as having a disability? High blood pressure, which I have. could be considered a disability if it limits your ability to do some function that you would have normally done, okay? But we're going to zone in on a very specific disability called intellectual and developmental disabilities. The acronym is IDD, and that is a diagnosis that someone would receive before the age of 18. And it involves an IQ of 69 or below, okay? If you had some traumatic brain injury or event occur in your life after age 18, it'll be a different diagnosis. But this label, this diagnosis of IDD occurs before age 18. So it could be challenges someone is born with. It could be an event that occurred in life but before age 18. Folks who are diagnosed with IDD are eligible to receive services that funnel down through Medicaid. Medicaid at the big operation at the federal level funnels down through HHS at the state level, and then services funnel down to the various areas, such as Heart of Texas. Are any of y'all familiar with Heart of Texas services here? Everything in Waco is Heart of Texas, right? Everything. But Heart of Texas services, and that may not be the proper name, they are a local authority. There are 38 local authorities in Texas, and Heart of Texas would serve at least this county, and maybe they serve some more. I'm not certain. In any event, Heart of Texas is considered the provider in this area, and there may be private providers that individuals choose. The point I'm getting at here is individuals receive various services, and they deserve those services. But many of the folks with the diagnosis of IDD also desire to work in the community. And it is very, very difficult for them to break into the job market in the community. Employers are scared to hire them because they fear that one of their employees might do or say the wrong thing. They're scared that someone might get hurt. And I'm going to dispel some myths with you today about all of that. The fact is this: if you give someone with IDD the opportunity to work in your setting, there are so many business advantages. First and foremost, they're going to be a solid, dedicated worker because they don't have to go to work. They choose to go to work. They set that as a goal in life. Whereas most of us, as I look across this room, I'm pretty certain that all of us grew up and we were expected to go to work, right? As I look across this room, that was an expectation in life. For the folks we serve, and I say we because it starts at the big mothership in Austin, the HHS enterprise, all the way down across the state. For the folks we serve, they far too often have to prove that they can go to work, when it's just a goal for them like everyone else. To share a little data with you, look, that thing's gone. I barely touched the button and it did not. Okay, the fact is this: in life, in general, around the U.S., the big label of a disability, 36.9% of those folks with any disability achieve employment. Okay? For this audience that I'm talking to you about, the employment rate is only 14%. It is, again, very, very difficult for them to break in the job market. But once employers take a chance, they learn how beneficial it can be, because the person may only need to work 10 hours a week, and maybe the employer only needs someone for 10 hours a week. By and far, the audience that we're talking about today is going to work less than 40 hours and be a strategic option for the business to utilize where they need that person. And we have to take off the blinders when we think about this audience, because they can do a myriad of jobs. I'll give you a few examples. You heard in the introduction mention of our apprenticeship program. That was an experiment we did through a grant to see if people could excel in various outlets, various trades. We had a gentleman who became a computer programmer through the apprenticeship program, was offered a job and broke free of all benefits, became completely independent in life. So he receives no more government benefits because he found his niche. An employer had a chance, took a chance on him rather, and it worked out well. We've had folks who became welders helpers, mechanics helpers, mechanics, various trades, working with electricians, AC mechanics, etc. My point with this is they just have to be given the first chance. And many times it is entry level, okay? But you need a chance to break into the work environment. Now, I can stand up here and talk and talk and talk, but they say a picture paints 1,000 words. So I'm going to show you about a 4-minute video, and then I'll come back to talk to you some more. Goodness. Okay, now I'm going to get some technical. Thank you. Let me see if I can get back to slideshow. I barely touched the remote, and it took off.
I believe everybody, disabled or not, deserves a chance to make something of themselves. What I'm looking for as an employer is somebody who's motivated to work.
It's really important that people with disabilities are given a chance to work because they're so dedicated and they love their jobs and they love coming to work.
People have a choice of where they're going to spend their money. It could be for price, it could be for location or product, but it's also what the company stands for. So it's really important that businesses hire people that reflect their community.
It is good business to hire people with disabilities because it strengthens and adds diversity to a team.
Clarence is a courtesy clerk here, and he stacks customers' groceries, and then he takes them out to the car.
He just wants to help. He's that giving type person.
Go back here, from the stores to the floors, in full time. He's self-motivated and has a great work ethic. It tends to rub off on other employees as well.
He's worked for our company since 2008. We're very proud and appreciative to have Clarence on our team.
Clarence has exceptional customer service skills. He brings a smile to work every day, and he knows more people by name here than I do.
Cole is a shining example of somebody who loves his job and loves his work.
I like working at the Home Depot every night. I like helping customers.
What's unique about Cole is his depth for wanting to figure out things and offer more and be able to solve problems for both customers and associates.
We have a Home Depot app where you can look up products and locations, and he does not hesitate to assist customers when they come in.
He will build the entire store like the back of his hand, so if I have a question, I have no problem going in and getting the right answer.
There's been a few times that we've been out and I've had Cole with me and people will come up and they're like, "That's fine." They told me stories of how I was in Home Depot the other day and he's just such a great worker.
I am giving hours. I can't thank Cole enough for being the guy that he is and the attitude that he brings to the store just makes it enjoyable for everybody.
Customers have a lot going on in their lives and their day, and they come in here to get help or whatever need it may be, and that smile to kind of help them know that we're here to serve and here to take care of them. It's something that we spend a lot of time training our associates, but with Cole, it's an automatic every time.
He's a great employee, and there's not a lot that I have to do other than just encourage him, fill his tank, and let him know he's doing a great job.
Eric makes a friend out of everybody. Everybody he talks to loves him. I like everybody.
Look in the middle. He told me I work all day and I work hard. And that is true. I think one of the hard workers I've ever been around. He does everything with a smile and a happy attitude.
He's very positive. He comes into work very high energy. And that energy transfers to our guests and to our employees.
That's something that warmed my heart to see that Eric has found a second home with his coworkers that work with him.
Waterwood is my family.
There are so many people in place, from the state level to the local level, to make sure that each one of our individuals is supported.
Employers find out it's an advantage to their business because it makes the customers understand they too are compassionate.
After watching Clarence work, I've gone ahead and hired several other people with disabilities and watched them grow with the company as well.
You're going to give an employee that wants to be there. You're going to give an employee that's going to show up on time. You're going to give an employee that's going to give you 100% every day that they show up. And they're going to make a positive impact on your company.
It's incredibly important for any business to reflect their community and give that individual a chance to show what they can really bring to the table.
It's a great opportunity for everyone. no one misses out.
So every time I watch this video, trust me, I've seen it hundreds of times going around the state presenting. I think of something new that I pick up in there, or just something I want to share. So first off, I want to reiterate why I'm here today. I want you to walk away from today picking up something about this and possibly being motivated, if you're in a business setting, to hire someone, to consider hiring someone. Let's say that you're not in the business setting today. Maybe you're retired. That's cool. You spend money all around this community, all the time, right? Well, help those businesses that help wanted signs up. Help educate them that this is something they can consider. If you were motivated to hire someone, what is my job? Well, my job is to get you connected with that local talent agent. That's the term I use. That's the service provider locally. So through Heart of Texas, they know the individuals who set the goal for employment. They know where they would excel, so you're not getting an unknown commodity. They know what's going to work on communication style for that person, etc. And did you know there is something called a job coach that you can utilize, and it's free. A job coach comes with a person and can train that person. And they can be on there at the job site for as many months or whatever is needed, depending on what the person needs. Obviously, the goal is to become as independent as possible, as soon as possible, right? But it's a service that benefits pay for. So for the business, it's a huge asset. And then the person can fade out. And that's an agreement between the business and the provider about how much the job coach should be there. So it's kind of a hand-in-glove situation. When we talk about this, there's something called waiver services. Waiver services basically waive off an institutional setting. You go back years and years ago, anyone with IDD was probably placed in an institutional setting. Okay, there were very few, I'm talking years ago. There weren't a lot of community-type services. Well, that's different today. So waiver services waive that off, and they're under various categories in the state. The largest one is home and community-based services. So I mentioned job coaches and I mentioned the local authorities. So those are the two key players around the state. Job coaches free of charge to the business. So I want to take just a second here. I was thinking about the video, as I mentioned. I want to talk about it. 3 gentlemen in that video. When I was asked to take on this role several years ago, I was first a bean counter. Right? You heard that I was director of administration this, business that. Well, I was always the bean counter in my career. But someone said, you like to talk. Would you take on this statewide project? Well, I've been around for my first ride with state government and kind of exited, and then I'm a retread, as they call it, come back to work. So when I was asked to do this, I thought, okay, I'll put that together. And I wanted to have a video to go out and show folks real work. Because I could talk to you all you want, right? I can stay here for 2 hours when I want to. But I could talk to you for 2 hours about this subject. I love it. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my career. It's the polar opposite of what I did before on the business sector. But I wanted this video, so we put it together. Let me talk to you about a couple of things in that video. These are real folks in life, and these are just 3 people of hundreds and thousands of folks that would be able to have the same life story and example. But did you hear the grocery store manager talk about Clarence? And he said after hiring Clarence and realizing how good of a worker he was, I've hired more and more people. That's a fact. I had heard that from businesses and reading it. But this guy said it on the video. We shut down the shoot, and I said, Mr. Danny, that was his name, I said, you made this statement about Clarence, that's really true, you've hired several people? And he looked at me weird, he goes, yes. I said, well, how many people have you hired? Well, Clarence has been here for many years, so I've hired a lot of folks. But I wouldn't tell you, I have 5 people working at this store in different shifts employed now who have disabilities. Well, I need a little more proof. So that particular day, there was Clarence working there who had gone back to work after we shut down the chute. There was a lady working in produce who had disabilities, and then a guy working on the floor with stock who had disabilities. Proof positive that if you take that first chance, you will find how good of a worker the person is and hire more and more folks. I want to talk about Eric for a second because there's little backstories with everyone when we did this video. Eric, as you saw, worked for Whataburger, right? Eric was living at that time, when we put this video together, he was living at the state-supported living center in San Antonio. Now that's different than a community setting. It's kind of a full-service operation, and usually folks who need more services, more intense involvement, live there. However, Eric was progressing in life. He started there as a child, and as he got old enough, he made it clear to the staff that I want to work. Also want to give you, you know the term, it takes a village? This game right here is an example of that more than anything in life. It takes a village of people who care to circle around someone and help them. In Eric's case, it was a perfect example. Eric had staff at that state-supported living center who listened to what he said. He said, I want to go work. I don't mean I want to work in here. I want to go work out there, outside of the facility. He got a job in what's called a sheltered workshop. It pays sub-minimum wage, gained skills. He started working, and eventually they saw he's going to be ready to go out and work somewhere else. So they get him set up for interviews. He goes to interview at Whataburger, gets a job. Well, now he has to have transportation. Did anybody notice Eric rides a bus? That's bewildering to me. He uses Via Transportation in San Antonio. He doesn't just ride a bus that comes up to his door and picks him up. No. He has to walk. There's a big facility. He walks outside of that facility, down the street 1 block, catches a bus, takes it to a transfer station, catches a second bus, goes to a stop, and walks a block to work. That's a lot of pieces in the puzzle for someone with IDD. But again, it takes a village. The staff embraced that he wanted to work, and they put all these pieces together and they support him. Eric goes to work. He starts showing up for work 2 hours early every day. Sits in the dining room, waiting for a shift to start. Well, the manager who was on that video, his name's Mark, he said, we love Eric. He's such a hard worker, but he gets here too early. Everyone loves Eric. He sits out here, and basically he was an ambassador. But he sat out there and he said, we can't have him coming in that early. Can y'all work with him to not come in so early? Staff goes back to Eric. Sure. They start working with Eric on different bus schedules. And he says, now I'm not going to be late to work with him. So they got him on these bus schedules that would get him there no more than 30 minutes early every day. Eric said, I'm not going to be less than 30 minutes early. The manager said, we can live with that. My question to you guys, if you've ever been a manager or a supervisor or you have coworkers, how many people would love for your coworkers or your employees to simply be on time, much less early? And the folks we serve are that right there. They're going to be there early. They're going to be scared to take off work because they think if you're not at work, you're going to get fired. And sometimes they're going to come to work when they shouldn't. And that we've heard over and over employers say, we needed them to go home today because they shouldn't be here. But that's who you're going to get. Let's see, who have I left out here? Cole. All right. Cole works at Home Depot. He, one of the co-workers, there was a guy, he said, Cole knows the app like the back of his hand. In fact, it is. I saw it in action. It's true. Cole knows that store like the back of his hand. Cole works 10 hours a week because it's perfect for him. He works, I think, 3 days a week. Somehow or another, it comes out to 10 hours, and that's what the store needs. That's what he needs. We were shut down there, and I was standing back just observing, and Cole went to work on the cash register, and there was another employee beside him on cash register, and in Cole's line, there were 3 people stacked up. Thursday morning, about 11 o'clock now, and I kind of suspect that's the routine customer coming through Home Depot on a weekday. As the guy should, the other employee went out and went to those people and said, hey, I don't have anybody waiting over here if you want to come to my line. And every one of those people, so they must be regulars, they said, no, we're going to stay in Cole's line. We just kind of like to interact with them. He is an awesome customer service ambassador as well, a hard worker, and he does good for the store. So, I never talk about this being a nice thing to do, okay? It is nice, that's just a fact, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's a good business decision, and your business is going to benefit from it, whereas having Cole there and representing a portion of the community, that is nice, but he is a valuable asset to that organization. We'll talk about 3 more minutes. I'm going to leave 5 minutes for questions, and then I'll hand it back to the president to wrap up. So, the disabled people served have a genuine desire to work, as I've stated earlier. No one told them they have to go to work. They have benefits because of their disability that they deserve. They truly deserve these. If you get to know a lot of the folks I'm talking about, you'll get it. You'll get it why we really have services when we shouldn't for other people. Okay? And why? We know people take advantage of things. It's not the case here. These folks deserve these services. But what's different is they want to become more independent in life, and they just need opportunities. They are out-of-the-box thinkers. Why would I say that? Well, for many of the folks we serve, they have extreme, and I do mean extreme, physical disabilities. The first challenge of the day may be when they wake up and try to get moving. Well, that exists throughout the whole day. And because of that, they become innovators in life, out-of-the-box thinkers to get through their day. And that out-of-the-box thinking, that innovative style, transcends into the work environment. And you'll see that. So as I said earlier, some employers are scared that there's going to be a lack of understanding with the other coworkers, and that's something that you work through. The other coworkers end up embracing and finding that this coworker is a valuable asset. The one little thing that does happen also is these folks will become the trendsetter and set the standard that other people have to work up to. We've seen that over and over. There are a number of myths versus facts, and I'll just touch on these and then we'll go to questions. A lot of folks would think that the disabled person is going to be more prone to injury on the job. You know what? It's the complete opposite. They're more careful. They're more careful in the work environment because of life challenges day to day. They're just naturally more careful. They do not call in sick. As I said earlier, they're going to be there on time. They're there to work. They want to work. So, before we go to questions, I have business cards. If you would like to see if someone might be a good fit for your organization, you just say, hey, give me your business card. We'll talk. You call me sometime when you want to. My number's on there. And then I'm going to quickly move to get you hooked up with the local resource here in Heart of Texas. If you have connections already, you may want to contact them direct and ask if you have people you know at Heart of Texas, you're looking for the LIDA, L-I-D-D-A side of the house, the Intellectual Developmental Disability Authority. Okay? How about questions before we turn the floor back over? Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. And I used to work at Heart of Texas Behavioral Health Network. We refer to Heart of Texas. You see an agent on. I know that part of the training that all the employees there was to get a training about the.
All right, well, I'm gonna run. Sorry, thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
Does HHS offer those trainings to organizations or businesses so that they can be better trained in how to interact with that?
Okay. We do have a number of resources on our website, not hands-on training, but web resources. And they even jump out to those resources that our agency has prepared. It also looks at federal resources. The other side of that, kind of more of a hands-on training for the local front or businesses, would be via the local authority and their staff, helping to get to know the person. Because as you stated, the staff, you alluded to this anyway, that the staff get to know that person. That's what's going to be critical in this. They know that person. And the kicker with that, I forgot to mention earlier, is as they're helping the employer get to know the person and the communication style and all that, the provider is never out of the picture. It doesn't matter if that person becomes completely independent on the job. let's say you hit a little hiccup, you can always, if you want to, call the provider back in to help get over a hump. And that would prevent a termination and probably help if there's some little breakdown to set the person back on the right path. But your local provider will be a huge asset in education about the person and what the employer needs to know. All right, any other questions? Well, I want to say thank you for having me here today. It is very rewarding in the role that I have to see folks break into the job market, to get that chance. I love the role I have because I get to see it happen. And if you guys take a chance in your business and do the same, you will find it to be very, very rewarding. Thank you again for having me today.
Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for being such a strong advocate for that community. Yeah. So I have an adult age child with autism, and so I understand that they can be overlooked and undervalued, and it's a huge part of our population that we need to give opportunities to and not underestimate them. So thank you. All right. Thank you to our guests for being here today, and don't forget to stop and look at the Vanguard books, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. If you want to stand with me, we'll recite our 4-way test of things that we explain to you. Is it the truth?